Hey guys, this is your boy AfroGeek PlusUltraNappy and welcome back to a brand new video. So in today's video, I figured I'd do something along the topics of Pokemon. You know, your boy on the channel, I love me some Pokemon. I grew up watching Pokemon. I didn't really experience a lot of the games until I was around, well, maybe middle school is when I started dabbling more into the games. But as far as like the anime and all the other stuff like card collecting, I did a lot of that as like a youngin' all the way up to now my adulthood. So I figured in this video I would do something a little bit, I don't want to say different, but it's something within my Pokemon collection. I'm gonna be honest, I have quite a bit of Pokemon stuff, and I wanted to narrow it down to 5 of my favorite pieces within my Pokemon collection. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's just hop into the video. So coming in at number 5 is a item that I remember having as a kid, and then I rebought once I moved into my new place with my wife and I wanted some stuff for my office. And that I am talking about is a Pokemon VHS tape called Pokemon PokeFriends. I remember having this VHS tape when I was a kid. I don't know what it is about it, I just really liked it. I remember I had this one. Actually, I think this was the only one I had as a kid outside of Pokemon Mewtwo Returns, but I remember watching this one on repeat like all the time. Like I remember in the back of my old house that I lived in growing up, I remember I'd wake up in the mornings, I would make myself breakfast, whether it was, you know, like Eggo waffles, or I would make like a bacon egg sandwich on a skillet, and I would sit there and watch Pokemon on like our little tiny TV. We had a tiny TV with a VHS player built into it, and I would just watch Pokemon VHS tapes on repeat, like over and over and over. It was kind of unhealthy, but I loved this tape. I don't know, it was just one of those comfort tapes that I used to watch a lot when I was a kid. You know, like if I were to come home and, you know, someone like picked on me or whatever and I was feeling down about it, I'd just put this tape on and I just would, you know, just be kind of like a nirvana. It was really comforting for me. So that's why I had to put it at number 5. I have a couple shelves dedicated for Pokemon on my right. I'm sure I'll put them on the screen somewhere, but I knew as I was starting to collect more Pokemon memorabilia, I wanted to pick up this tape. I have a couple VHS tapes, but this one is tops them all. It just tops them all. So coming in at number 4 is not a Pokemon home media item, but it is something a lot cooler, and that item is my Near Mint 7 Japanese Charizard from the Neo set. And I've talked about this on the channel before, about how I got this card and everything, but for those of you that are new to the channel, hi! I've talked about my podcast that I have with one of my close friends who we talk about Pokemon. It's called Project Deck Fox Podcast. Link for that in the description below if you want to check it out. We talk about all things Pokemon, literally from like the OG 151 to like the newest stuff with cards, video games, anime, TCG products, anything you name it, we'll talk about within the Pokemon realm. When we launched our podcast back in February of 2023, he gave me this card as a gift for a way of saying, congratulations, we did it. We did all the prep, because we did like several months of prep. We almost did a year of prep, and he gave me this as a gift. I didn't have any graded Pokemon cards before I obtained this one, but I'm very grateful that I have it. I don't really care what, like, you know, near mint, if it's a 6, 7, 5, whatever, I could care less. I love Charizard, trying to build a Charizard collection. This is in my Charizard. I have so many graded Charizard cards, but this one tops them all. And I just like the overall hollow pattern on it. I'm sure you can see as I'm trying to show it off on the camera. And it's Charizard. And I like the older Charizard cards too, because this is from, it looks like it's a promo reverse hollow from the Japanese Neo 2 set from the year 2000. I honestly buy graded cards. I've never submitted any, although that is something I'm going to be working on this year, so stay tuned for that. And this is just honestly the best one that I have. So coming in at number 3, a game that I honestly couldn't pick between the two. Honestly tried to narrow it down, and those 2 games I'm talking about is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on the Nintendo GameCube and Pokemon Soul Silver on the Nintendo DS. Now, I bet you're wondering why those 2, and I'm pretty sure I may have talked about it on this channel. If not, I know for sure I talked about it on the main channel. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness was the first Pokemon game that I have ever played. I didn't really grow up playing the Game Boy games just because I didn't really have the money, or did we really have the funds to get me those Game Boy games? They weren't super duper expensive, but you know, as time goes on with Pokemon games, they're really hard to find and they're always going to be out the ass expensive. But I remember I used to rent Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness from Hollywood Video. That shows you how old I am. I used to rent it from Hollywood Video all the time. Like I just would keep checking it out over and over and over, and I would play the game. And at the time, I didn't have a memory card until, I want to say, summer going into 7th grade. After I came back from a New York trip with my mom, I bought a GameCube memory card, and I started being able to save my progress from playing XD Gale of Darkness. But before that, I was just seeing how far I can get within the game in one day before turning my GameCube off and just restarting over and over and over and over. And with Pokemon Soul Silver, that was my favorite Pokemon game within the main storyline. Lugia is my favorite legendary Pokemon, so of course I'm going to gravitate more towards Soul Silver. And it's something about that gen that I like a lot. Soul Silver is a remake of Pokemon Silver, for those that don't know. I'm sure a lot of you that are tuning in and watching this video probably already know that, but for those that don't know, Soul Silver version is a remake of Pokemon Silver from back on the Game Boy Color. And growing up as a kid, I remember in 8th grade, I got Pokemon Soul Silver, and I used to pull all-nighters, like on school nights, sneaking in my bedroom and just playing that game. And I just liked that there was so much you can do within the game. So many Pokemon to catch, all sorts of fun things. That's why I really like Soul Silver. Honestly, those are kind of the two reasons why it's hard for me to choose, because XD Gale of Darkness is my favorite of the spin-off games, and Pokemon Soul Silver is my favorite out of the main. Coming in at number 2 is one that I cherish
so much,
and it is on my wall. You can't see it, but I'm staring at it right now, and that is my signed print from Veronica Taylor. For those of you that don't know, Veronica Taylor was the original voice actor for Ash Ketchum. She voiced Ash Ketchum from seasons 1, beginning in the Indigo League, all the way to Battle Frontier. And then Sarah Cheney took over once we got to Diamond and Pearl, and then for like the final episode involving Ash within Pokemon. Veronica Taylor has always been a part of my childhood. Now, Sarah Cheney has as well, but Veronica Taylor, she's like the OG voice actor for Pokemon. I met Veronica Taylor back at a Pokemon convention in Memphis back in 2022 called PokeCon Memphis, where she was attending and she was a guest, had a panel along with Stuart Zagnit, and also Jason Page was there too, so I got a chance to meet all 3 of them. I got some stuff signed from them as well, and they're on my Pokemon shelf, so in my Pokemon collection. So damn nervous when I met her. I remember I was shaking. I was trying not to cry because, you know, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to tear up now. Pokemon was kind of like my crutch. Whenever I was really depressed, I got bullied a lot, I was just not really feeling happy, I gravitated towards Pokemon. I would like binge the movies, the show, the games, the cards, like in an unhealthy manner. I would just dive into Pokemon. I told her about the time where my mom got me my first Pokemon VHS tape, and based off that VHS tape, that's how I got into watching the anime. And ever since I got that VHS tape, I have fallen in love with Pokemon. It was just such an honor to meet her, and that was honestly one of the things on my bucket list, is that I've always wanted to meet Veronica Taylor, and I didn't think I would ever get that chance. That's such a dream goal of mine, and I actually got to achieve that, so I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that. I did good. So I have 2 honorable mentions that I just wanted to quickly bring up before I go into the number 1 spot, and that being the Charizard VHS tape. Now, I have the VHS tape of Charizard as well as the Charizard DVD, and the only reason why I have this was because, again, I'm trying to build a really big Charizard collection. It has to do with Charizard. It also has the episode with Aerodactyl on it, the episode where Charmeleon evolves into Charizard, and overall it's just a really cool tape. I found it on eBay for under, I want to say, $12. And then the other honorable mention is something that I am holding in my lap, and that is this Gengar plushie. So this big Gengar plushie I got when I went to Build-A-Bear with my wife and one of her friends. We went to Build-A-Bear. I love Gengar. Gengar is actually my 2nd favorite Pokemon, but I mean, listen, I just love that plushie so much, and so I'm really glad I was able to build it and bring it home, because dude, it is so cool. And I'm assuming that the battery might be dying within it because it just kept saying get. It almost sounded like it was saying Nick. But yeah, I just had to throw those two in there because honestly, I didn't want to add them to my collection. I couldn't find a spot for them. There were so many other things that were better than those two personally. So I just want to throw those in there before I got to the number one spot. So last but definitely not least, coming at number one is Charizard plushie I got back in 2020. And I remember my wife, she got me this when I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 1. She knew I loved Charizard. Charizard is my favorite Pokemon. And she got me this as a way of just saying, hey, you got this. And I've talked about it on the podcast. Will cherish this plushie for as long as I live. I will not get rid of it. I would literally sell everything within my Pokemon collection before I'd sell this. I would sell, I don't care how expensive it is. I don't care how hard it would be to obtain it again, or if I would be able to get it again. This is not going anywhere. This is always within my collection, and I'm just honestly really glad that I have it within my collection. It means more to me than anyone will ever know. This guy always goes with me to conventions that I attend for my podcast. He just goes with me everywhere. It will always be the best thing within my Pokemon collection. It will always be at number one. It won't be any lower. But alrighty guys, that concludes the video for my top 5 favorite pieces within my Pokemon collection. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. Don't forget to hit the bell so that way you get notified whenever I upload future videos on this channel. And if you want to connect with me more, hit up my links to my social media accounts in the link description below, as well as my main channel, which is in that link in the description below as well. If you have a Pokemon collection at home, let me know down in the comment section below your top 5 favorite pieces or just your overall favorite piece. And again, let's talk about it. But alrighty guys, I will catch y'all in the next video. It's your boy Rated Ed, and your boy is just...